Hey, it's me again. So, for this video, we're going to talk about powder and where we get it. So first off, we'll go to the shop, and Powder of Knowledge is all about artifacts. So, where might we get Powder of Dust? You might ask yourself. Great question. We're just going to go on up here to my artifact bag, and we're going to go ahead and open that up, and we're going to sell one of these guys, and boom, that's how you get a single dust, is a single 3-star. You might notice that if you sell a 5-star, you will get 30. I don't normally recommend that, as 5 stars are normally pretty good and worth holding on to. Let's see if I can find a 4-star that I am okay parting with. I don't think event ones do it, but nope, event ones don't do it. Is there any non-event 4 stars in my inventory? Wow, tell me how rich you are, Christian, that you've just been throwing them in the freaking dumpster this entire time. But anyways, a normal 4-star will just give you 8 dust instead, and that's going to be where the main bulk of your dust comes from, is going to be from 4 stars. There is another place where you can get dust. Surprise, it's Wyvern. Wyvern will be getting you your dust at every once in a blue moon. You're really not going to be expecting it very often. So that's kind of where you get dust from. Dust is a useful resource, and you'll use it for every once in a while. A lot of times you're just going to kind of be saving it up for random banners where you're like, hey, I really want that artifact, but I certainly don't want to pull for that unit. You will also notice, going back to the shop, that we'll have these currently active because we currently have heroes with them in the shop. And those are going to be at your premium 240. It's really expensive. If you can get away with not pulling from them here, it's worth not pulling them from them here. The Bottle of Knowledge is also really nice because it's essentially just a limit break for one of your artifacts, but this can be for any of your limited time artifacts that you normally can't pull for. So that's where you'll normally use them from. On this other note, these 180s, this is where you would rather spend your dust, because unlike these top ones where you can only pull once per rotation, these you can buy infinitely. And they also have a rotation that will rotate on about a month. Normally it's a little bit more than a month, and it rotates out. You'll also find 4 stars here, which I mentioned in my previous video. Aureus is here, and if you don't have a full maxed out Aureus, I would grab one. It's just really good, highly recommend it. So that's dust in a nutshell. Another comment that you had asked me about was PvE units and how to raise them. And honestly, it's just going to be you filling out your Pokédex essentially. You're just going to be making units for PvP, and then you're going to be like, oh, I needed this in PvE as well, and here we go. Honestly, my PvE teams aren't crazy, especially for like side story. Where you will find them to be different is in your raids. You're going to be building specific teams for the most part. That being said, you can just make a general raid team like I did. This right here will clear all the raid bosses pretty well. You can just kind of play around, find what you like. Tamarine really is just one of the be-all, catch-all units for PvE, because she normally takes a while to start rolling, but once she does pop off, she's just god tier in it. I told you not to pull for Assyria, but Assyria just makes her go faster, makes her pop off sooner. She's really not necessary for the combo to be good. Tamarine is just a good unit as well. She does a lot of different mechanics. Assyria also does a lot of mechanics as well, but you don't need them. For some of these other content, really just about any team can clear the altars. You don't really need to build specifically for them. Abyss for each floor, like I'm not even as high as you can be in this. I kind of just gave up at a certain point. but oh man, that's a 10 pull right there. But for each one of these floors, you're going to want to build a specific team to clear each and every floor, and it can be a bit challenging. It's actually really difficult. So you're going to have to specifically gear and pull for that one, for those. What other? Automaton Tower is my Violet Tower, where I just put Violet and a team, and eventually Violet kills everything. That doesn't really help you because I don't believe you've got Violet, but you can just kind of sweep this pretty easily after a while. Once you start getting some good units, it shouldn't pose you much difficulty. Hall of Trials will always have a different boss rotating through, and you might gear just random units from your Pokédex depending on which boss shows up. Normally it's not crazy difficult, and you don't have to score super high to get the rewards. Obviously scoring higher will get you better rewards, but it's not something that you have to do. So yeah, it's kind of a PvP, PvE talk in a nutshell and Powder.